Hey guys, Chris Record back again, this time with Aaron Burton, AKA Mr. Flippa.
How's it going?
It's been pretty exciting. So what I wanna do is just casually kind of interview Aaron, talk to him a little bit about flipping sites, maybe ask him a few questions, and give you kind of a little inside perspective as to what Aaron's been doing. Now, you have not been doing this long. It's been how many months since you started flipping?
Just about 9 months.
About 9 months, and if you had to say, what total amount have you received so far flipping stores?
So far, I've received about $90,000 in sales from flipping sites.
$90,000 in 9 months. Okay, now here's the cool part. That sounds amazing as it is, but until a store actually flips, until someone buys it, you're keeping the profit during that time too. So it's not just 90, it's $90,000 plus all the profit that you made until they flipped. Now, if you had to count, let's just do total gross sales. So you've done 3 stores now, right?
Correct.
What's roughly the total amount of gross revenue that you've generated through Shopify from these stores?
So total gross revenue has to be around $250,000.
Boom, $250,000. That's pretty exciting. Now, and you're just getting started. Okay, so Aaron and I are friends. We've been friends for a long time. He's been part of different programs that we've done in the past. He now actually lives out in Arizona, right down the street from the office, so we've had a chance to get a lot closer. And Aaron has like a cool little method he does. What he does is you basically start a Shopify store in a specific niche, not just a big general niche, but you like to find a good niche that stands out. You build it up to get it a little bit successful. You gotta have revenue and you know, you gotta have stats to be able to show an investor. You like to have traffic and Facebook ads and revenue, so he gets it going. He doesn't just come up with an idea and try to sell it. You actually get it profitable. Then he turns around and lists it on these auction websites, and this is just the beginning. And then what happens is people bid on his store and bid a lot. So let's just kind of go through these 3 sites. Let's go through one at a time, and maybe just share as much as you want to share. So site number 1, the first time you ever flipped a site, what niche was it in?
So the first site that I flipped was actually in the fitness niche. Now that might sound kind of broad, but I actually found a sub niche within this niche. It was actually women's fitness leggings.
Okay, women's fitness leggings, okay? So what he did was he took a big broad niche, but he did women's fitness leggings, and you sort of built a brand around that. Your store featured a lot of leggings, had a brand logo and stuff like its own domain name, its own analytics account, all that kind of stuff, right?
Yep.
First little tip right there, you guys, just for free right now, is find kind of like a little micro niche or a sub niche inside of a big niche. Okay, leggings. Can you really sell? I mean, are women buying these leggings online?
Yeah, leggings is actually a really big market.
Wow. So like roughly like how much were you selling leggings for on the site?
So I was selling them for about $24.95.
Okay. And then with Facebook ads, you were obviously paying, you had overhead, so you got to pay. Roughly like how much money you were spending just to acquire a customer with Facebook ads?
Probably like $5 to $6 to acquire a customer.
Okay, so check this out. Spending $5 to $6 to acquire a customer and then selling the product for $25. Now, that leaves like maybe $20 in profit, but of course you still have to pay for the leggings.
Correct.
And you have to pay for shipping. So it's not all profit. But when the store is done, what I liked about what you did was you created like a profit and loss statement. So you went to the investors, and even though how much did the store, before you sold it, how much in gross revenue roughly had the store done?
Probably about $70,000.
Okay, so about $70,000 in gross revenue, and using the same methods we teach on how to be able to build stores. Okay, it's not rocket science. He actually follows the same kind of methods that we teach. Now, $70,000, but what I liked is you went, instead of going to the investors and saying, oh, I have a $70,000 site, you went to them and said, here's my profit and loss, here's an Excel spreadsheet, here's screenshots of my accounts, here's you were basically like fully transparent. Here's everything, and it shrunk 70,000 down to a much smaller amount of actual profit. Most people would be embarrassed, but investors actually love seeing the real true profit, and then they're gonna give you a multiple times that when they buy it.
Correct.
So even though it's $70,000, it was not all profit. We're just gonna be honest with you here, okay? Sometimes you see screenshots and they're kind of like, they seem too good to be true. Yeah, they're not factoring in cost of advertising, cost of product, and cost of shipping. But at least your site was profitable. So that first site, how long had you had the site before you sold it?
So the first site, actually, I had it for about 6 months.
Okay, about 6 months. And this is his first one, kind of getting the training wheels of the flipping business. And how much did you flip that for?
So I flipped the first site for about $30,000.
$30,000. So listen, here's what's crazy. He was able to build a niche in the women's fitness leggings, build it up to get it some profit, and somebody came along and bought it for $30,000. This was a lump sum that went into his pocket, no more management responsibilities, you then transferred it over. Now, is it safe? Did you use like a third-party service to handle the transaction?
It was very safe. I actually used a site called escrow.com, and they handled all the transactional they handle all the transactional business.
Yeah, like, so basically, you put your assets up in there and the person puts their money in there,
Correct.
and then they make sure everything's good before they release it to both parties, right? So just like a real estate deal goes through escrow, escrow.com can facilitate these online deals. And so that's what you did. Now, after you got the taste of kind of flipping, you didn't stop there.
I didn't.
You didn't stop there. So let's talk about your second one. What niche did you decide to get into for your second store?
So the second store was actually in a similar niche. Since I already knew the demographics, I kind of knew what women wanted, basically. And the second store was actually a waist training store.
Waist training. Now, waist trainers are very popular. If you haven't seen waist trainers, women will generally wear around their waist a garment that can tighten up and can kind of help give them an hourglass type of a figure. Women who have recently had babies really love that, or anybody looking to get in shape, looking for a better figure. They're very, very popular. A lot of celebrities have been endorsing these weight trainers, making it popular. So he noticed, again, a sub-niche trend inside of fitness and decided to capitalize on it. So did you build like a whole brand around waist trainers?
I did, all waist trainers.
All waist trainers. So a whole site all about waist trainers and marketing using Facebook ads.
Correct.
Same system, same everything.
Same everything.
Okay, so before you sold it, roughly how much in revenue did that store, total gross revenue did that store do?
About 69,000, so pretty much the same.
Okay, about $70,000 in revenue before you flipped it. And this time, about how long did you have it?
3 months.
Okay, so he shortened the learning curve. His first one took him about 6 months. This one, he only had the site for about 3 months, and it already got to the same revenue, $70,000. Now, how much did you end up flipping this store for?
So this store actually flipped for 40,000.
$40,000. Here's what's crazy. It took you half the time, and you actually made an additional $10,000 more on the transaction.
Pretty crazy.
That's because you get better. You get better. And you don't even have to wait until a site is, that big. You can literally be flipping sites for 10,000, 20,000, 30,000. You can keep flipping it. Now, here's what's cool. Last week or so, you were here at Techademics. We were teaching our Ecom Incubator course. And right there, you were there. You're like, you know what? I'm going to flip a site. He had a site. He's like, let me just flip it really quick. What was this third niche that you got into that you flipped the site really quick? As an example, right while we were there.
So the third niche was actually a shoe site.
Okay, so just general shoes,
yeah.
anything shoes. Okay, and then in the categories, you had niches for the
Exactly,
shoes.
correct.
So then he did a general shoe store, and the categories were like certain niches. What were some examples of audiences you sold shoes to?
One of my niches were, let's see.
I don't put him on the spot. Share. I'm trying to pull out all of his details. If you don't want to share, you don't have to. I know some people are private about it. I'm just trying to pull out as much as I can.
Just like cat shoes, like anything animals.
So shoes, cat shoes, just so I understand, are you talking about a shoe that's a blank canvas and then you do a print on it?
Correct. It's like
Okay.
print on demand.
Print on demand. Here's what's crazy. Literally, his shoe store was nothing more than a bunch of shoes that he's just putting images on. Images, literally, and there's a site that'll fulfill them for him. That's crazy. You want to talk about simple? How easy is it to find an image and put it on a shoe? Okay, that's probably even one of the simplest things you've done.
Very
okay,
simple.
very simple site. So this one, simple, easy to do, and then how much did you flip that store for?
So this store didn't flip for as much, but it sold for 21,000.
Still $21,000, but it's also simple. I mean,
months.
literally just 3 months, throwing up shoes, blank shoes on a canvas, throwing it in there, and flipping it for $21,000. So just as an example, I wanted to point this out because Aaron's doing this. Aaron's somebody you're going to get a chance to meet in the community. Perhaps maybe some of you have even already seen a webinar that Aaron and I have done explaining all of this, but Aaron's somebody that's just an example of one of our members who's actually out there flipping stores. Now, he's done a lot of this on his own, okay, because this course, this certification course didn't exist. But when I started showing him what we're doing, I saw your mind kind of expand because up until now, a lot of what you've been doing is kind of hard. I mean, putting together all of the data, having to do all your own profit and loss statements. You have to gather information, download reports, try to figure out a way to put it all together. And then you saw here with Techademics with our Certified Power Sellers program, we have apps that literally pulls in all the data for you in just a minute. In fact, you get access to it any time of day. So at any moment, you could see the exact value of your site. You could see the projections, you could see everything. How valuable would that have been for you when you were first getting started?
That would have been really valuable because it takes like hours to put together all that documentation. And I usually wait till the last minute, like when I'm selling my store, to like put all this data together. So that would save me like tons of time.
And you wait till the last minute because you don't want to put all the data together and then every week have to re-put it together. But with our apps, you'll have it dynamic. At any given time, you can see the exact value of your asset. And now you can create multiple stores at the same time, know the exact value, so you can wait until the value looks right. You can wait until the profit and loss looks right to know when to sell it. We can help you kind of navigate through this crazy hard world that Aaron's in and make it very, very simple through our Certified Power Sellers program. And I mean, how much more would that have potentially made you if you had access to not only list your site on Flippa, but if you also had all these business brokers out shopping your sites for maybe even more? What would that have been worth to you?
I probably would have made hundreds of thousands, flipping those stores, because the site that I sold the stores on is kind of like a discounted site flipping brokerage.
Yeah, he went to like, an example is like, instead of selling your clothes at Nordstrom's or something like that, he went to the Nordstrom's rack, you know? He went to like where you go to get the cheap deals. And also all these people that are competing, they're all experts at buying sites. So they all know how to get the deals. But then when you have business brokers are out there shopping your site to very wealthy people who have cash to spend and they just want to purchase cash flow. In fact, if they don't purchase cash flow, they usually have to pay taxes. Usually their accountants are saying, dude, you gotta spend this money. These wealthy people, their accountants are saying, you've gotta go out there and buy cash flow creating stuff. You've gotta transfer your money into stuff. So all these people out there sitting on money, they want to invest in sites, but you didn't have access to those resources, so you went into the whole auction world where all these professionals are there. I mean, imagine if he could have even just doubled his revenue. Imagine what that would be worth. So what do you think? You think it's worth it for people to come out 3 days with us, come out to our certification program and get access to these resources?
It's definitely worth it because it's gonna definitely shorten their learning curve and it's gonna give them access to a better pool of buyers.
Absolutely. So listen, I just wanted to introduce you to Aaron. You might have already seen him prior to being on this page, and it's probably not the last time you're going to see him as well. Aaron's working with our community. Aaron is a very valuable asset, can go through his own experiences showing you what to do, can also help along the way, you guys, and this is just an example of the resources we're bringing to the table. So I really, hopefully, you look forward to meeting you. Hopefully you get a chance to meet Aaron, myself, and the rest of our broker team and all of our experts at the Power Sellers course that we're putting together. Again, your chance to be able to get an actual certified document where you're a certified power seller and you get access to our exclusive broker network. As Aaron said, could have probably even made as much as $100,000 more than he had already made just with that. And right now, you can get access very, very discounted and very worth it. So I look forward to seeing you there. Thanks, Aaron, for your time.
All right, thank you.
All right.